Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Westman, and I'm going to be giving you my reaction to some videos today that are out there. Watch with me, okay?
The one golden rule in a keto diet is to keep carbs low.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yes, the golden rule on a keto diet is to keep the carbs low.
This doesn't just mean cutting out bread, pasta, and grains. It means truly giving your eating habits a hard reset. Perhaps one of the most daunting elements of the keto diet for people can be the idea that they have to count every single carb. We do encourage you to track your macros and be mindful of your carb intake. But there is one simple strategy that helps to clear up any confusion around how much of what foods you should and shouldn't be eating. Choose mostly keto-friendly foods that have little to no net carbs.
Uh-oh. Couple things here I don't quite agree with. One, it doesn't have to be hard. I mean, it can be very easy if you learn from a simple system. And then we use total carbs, not net carbs, if you're doing this to fix obesity, reverse diabetes, those sorts of things. But so far, this is pretty good. But what does keto-friendly mean, right?
No carb options. You have hundreds of delicious options to choose from. To help simplify things and make your keto journey as easy as possible, we've put together the ultimate list of zero-carb foods for you to enjoy. Before we begin, it's important to note that nearly every kind of food has some sort of trace carbohydrate content. When we say zero carbs, we are talking about foods and beverages that contain less than 1 gram of net carbs per serving.
Uh-oh, the net carb thing again. Have you seen it, the bread that says 1 net carb, but it has 15 total carbs, and it stops you from not working? So in general, this is pretty good, but you want to keep the carbs low, but I'd say count total carbs, and then the absolute amount depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Could be 20 grams total per day, 40, 50, 70, that depends on your metabolism.
There are so many keto snacks to take their place. Of the bunch, those with the lowest carbs include pepperoni slices, keto pork rinds, bone broth, smoked fish, canned meat, preserved meat products like jerky, biltong, pemmican, and meat sticks, and seaweed.
Well, I don't know. I think those are all very low carb things, but I've never heard of a keto pork rind. They're pork rinds and they're keto because they're very low or have zero carbs. And then that's not the kind of food that I would particularly choose. So you have to understand that it's much more flexible than those kinds of foods that were shown. But let's keep watching.
Comprehensive look at good keto snacking habits, check out the Ruled Me article titled 50 Plus Healthy Keto Snacks to Help with Ketosis. Healthy fats are the cornerstone of a balanced keto diet. Zero carb fats like extra virgin olive oil, grass-fed butter and ghee, coconut oil, MCT oil, avocado oil, and animal fats like lard are ingredients you should be reaching for at almost every meal.
Wow. Well, those are all great oils and fats, but some of these are kind of expensive. So I think you can be more flexible in the choice of these things, keeping the carbs really low. Oils can be really any kind of oil because you're not having much oil. And then you don't have to have grass-fed butter. I think any butter, but of course you wouldn't want margarine on a keto diet. That's fading away. It's not a real food. But in general, this is pretty good. It's teaching a version of a keto diet that's kind of restricted.
Are unstable when exposed to high heat and can release toxins. We suggest avoiding these.
Well, and the focus on the vegetable oils and seed oils is a rather small thing. And I know that gets overemphasized and stressed in some programs, but I don't find that to be an essential thing. It is okay to have some vegetable and seed oils in small amounts and still be consistent with a healthy keto diet.
As well as black coffee and unsweetened tea. Sugar-free and carb-free energy drinks, diet drink mixes or drink enhancers, and diet soda and other diet drinks without any added sugar also count. Keep in mind that for some people, drinking sweeter drinks can trigger sugar cravings in the long term. When it comes to alcohol, those following the keto diet need to proceed carefully. Some alcoholic drinks have virtually no net carbs, but alcohol will slow fat burning while your body processes it. We suggest limiting your alcohol intake to 1 drink per day and choosing spirits like gin, unflavored rum, unflavored vodka, whiskey, tequila, scotch, bourbon, brandy, or cognac. Always be careful about added carbs in the alcohol you are drinking.
Well, that's a pretty good summary of alcohol. You want to be careful with the amount. And of course, if you have a history of alcoholism, don't drink. But you can drink alcohol on a keto diet and be successful. Well, that video was really pretty good. I think it taught the basics really well, but it might have been just a bit restrictive on the types of foods you could have and still have success with fixing obesity and diabetes, for example. Let's go on to the next video.
Step aside, Atkins. There's a new fad diet in town. The ketogenic diet, or keto for short. Celebrities like Halle Berry, Kourtney Kardashian, and Vanessa Hudgens all swear by it. And if losing weight is your goal, keto works. It's proven to help you shed pounds fast. But there's more to this diet than meets the eye.
Well, you know, I'm an author on the New Atkins for a New You diet book. Actually, it's funny that they dismiss Atkins. The first phase of the Atkins diet is a keto diet. So that was a little kind of, I think, just trying to show that this is something new when keto diet's actually been around for over 150 years in the obesity and diabetes world. So, you know, but I understand. You want to make sure that it's, you know, new, right? So what does the keto diet really do? Let's see.
Keto basically replaces carbs with fat. A typical keto diet looks like this: 70% fat, 25% protein, and 5% carbohydrates. It's a drastic change from the diet that the USDA recommends for most Americans, which is less than 30% fat, 20 to 35% protein, and at least 50% carbs. And it's a significant...
So it's different than the recommendations. That's a good thing. The USDA recommendations have not been evidence-based really ever. They don't come from research. They come from a governmental guideline. So, but I have to comment that a ketogenic diet is not always 70% fat. I think there's a range of fat that you can have and still be ketogenic and be healthy. I think this borrows from the ketogenic diet for epilepsy, which targets a 70%, and you have to be very strict about it. You don't have to be quite so strict if you're using it for other purposes than epilepsy. But let's continue on.
change for your body's metabolism too. Usually, when you eat carbs, like a starchy potato, enzymes in your mouth, stomach, and small intestines break them down into a form of sugar energy called glucose, which your brain and body use for fuel. So when you first skip out on carbs, the first couple days you might experience some strong sugar cravings. That's because your body is switching gears, from burning carbohydrates to the only energy it has left, fat. Once you're burning fat regularly, you'll see those pounds start to melt away. Depending on your weight, you might lose up to 3.5 pounds within that first week. As you burn more fat, levels of insulin, the fat-storing hormone, will drop significantly. This triggers your kidneys to release large amounts of sodium into the blood, which can actually lead to a common side effect known as the keto flu.
Hang on. It's been getting a little dramatic here. Most people don't have keto flu or symptoms as they start out. And technically, the salt isn't put into the blood, it's put into the urine. I mean, that's a minor thing, but I want it to be precise, okay? So, but now it's showing people in bed with flu. No, most people, it's like a headache or fatigue, and it goes away after just a few days.
Weight. One study, for example, found that overweight people lost an average of 15 pounds in the first month, another 11 pounds over the next 2 months, but after that, they saw no change in body weight, despite sticking to the keto diet. At this point, many people will just quit keto. That's why researchers often find it so hard to study the long-term effects of the diet.
Well, that poor avocado leaping off the edge there. So the studies that were done, and we participated in several of them over the last 20 years, the studies were limited because many of the programs that did the studies had no experience with keto diets. It was like they did it for the first time. They were researchers who were experienced in doing research, but they had no experience with doing a keto diet. So in most cases, they started having people add back carbohydrates at about the 3-month period, right where in this graph the weight loss stops. I can tell you from my clinical practice that goes way beyond these research studies that the weight loss does continue even after the 3 months if you stick to it and you're doing it properly. One of the main themes is to count total carbs, not net carbs. But well, let's see what happens to this avocado.
One group that typically sticks to keto for a really long time. It's unclear why, but keto is proven to reduce the symptoms of epilepsy. And studies show that epileptic children who stay on a very restricted keto diet for several years can suffer from kidney stones, high cholesterol, and bone fractures. But a typical keto diet won't be nearly as strict. And if you want to try keto, you should talk to your doctor first. In the meantime, go ahead and get that bread. And remember, the best diet is a balanced one of fat, protein, and yes, even carbs.
Oh dear. Well, what started out as kind of a good video about what is ketosis, and it ends up with not really giving all of the science that supports doing a keto diet. And we don't know that the best diet is one that includes carbohydrates, actually. So I'd have to say it loses at the end on a technical, scientific limitation there. I would say that a keto diet, when done properly, can actually be healthy for the long term for just about anyone. This is Dr. Westman Reacts, and if you like this format, please let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and check out adaptyourlifeacademy.com.